Saturday, a verdict reached in that third penalty phase in the life or death trial of Howard Alt. He was convicted of raping and murdering two young girls back in the 1990s. And now we're hearing from a loved one of those victims.
Local 10's Leanne Woodhong is joining us live outside the courtroom in Fort Lauderdale with that exclusive emotional interview as well as the jury's decision. Leanne.
The jury recommending death in this case, Howard Alt will be formally sentenced in April. Today we spoke to the victim's brother, who says he hopes that this time the death penalty will stick.
Jury entering.
A Broward jury voted to send convicted rapist and murderer Howard Stephen Alt back to death row for the third time.
We, the jury, find by a vote of 9-3 that Howard Alt should be sentenced to death.
Alt sat emotionless as the judge read the verdict form.
I still don't see remorse. I don't see any emotion. I don't see that in him, like he felt like he did anything wrong.
This is Bobby Jones. His little sisters were Alt's victims back in 1999.
I had no doubt that, their lives would have been prosperous, right? They would have been great women, great mothers, great friends to people.
He testified in the trial just last week.
It was emotional. It brought up a lot of hate and feelings that I thought I kind of had put behind me.
Bobby was 20 back then, and his mom and sisters were homeless, living in a camper in Oakland Park. They didn't know Alt was already a convicted pedophile.
I felt like he used an opportunity to try to insert himself, right, into her life to get to them.
Alt lured Deanne Mumin and Alicia Jones into his Fort Lauderdale home, then raped the 11-year-old in front of her 7-year-old sister. He killed them both and hid their bodies in his attic.
Here's a man that murdered 2 children, and he's been sitting for 20-something years.
Alt was sentenced to death twice before, but the Florida Supreme Court threw each of those sentences out. Jones hoping this time Alt will finally be executed.
If I could put him to death the way he put them to death, that would be my justice. To throw you in an attic half unconscious for days while you sit there and wilt away and die. That's the way I would like him to die. Unfortunately, that's not an option, but that would be justice to me.
We also asked Bobby about his mother. He says that since this crime happened back in 1996, that she's suffered some serious medical setbacks that have left her physically and mentally unable to not only testify in this particular trial, but even be present in court. He's hoping to use his voice now to be able to speak for her and his 2 little sisters. We're live in Fort Lauderdale. I'm Leanne Woodhong, Local 10 News.
Hopefully this will provide some closure for that poor family. All right, thank you, Leanne.